everybody, Annette Ornelas here from Southwind Designs. Today is our Spinning Wheels Quilt Along day 6, and I'm showing you how to put blocks together, the inside of the quilt. So we're going to be putting together block A and block B, and they are right here. I've already done a little work ahead of time, so it's quite simple because things have opposing seams, so you match them up. And then when you join them, they tend to fit together very nicely. So I've left myself one to show you. So I'm going to line this up and make sure this locks in just right. And then kind of look under here what's going on. Yep, this is good. Okay. So this is what that looks like, all three of them together. So these are the pieces we're going to peel back, but it's even better if we have all the whole thing together. So I'm going to sew this whole line of strips together. So I had row 1, row 2, row 3. It's just kind of larger than when we're sitting the blocks together. It's basically also a 9-patch, just each part of the 9-patch is a block. So let me get that fit together. And a lot of times, you know, you might want to use pins on that, but I'm going to be daring for my video and not bore you with sticking pins in. So I'm going to start on the first one, and then I'm matching up here. When I'm over the next intersection, I make sure this one lines up. So I'm kind of moving along over each intersection. See if my strategy works out. Here we go. Last one. And last one. Line that up. Okay, so let's see if it worked out. Yep, and yep. So you can press it at this point if you want, but first thing I'm gonna do is show you how to do some of these curves. So let's see, which ones are we gonna do? The ones that we can see. Okay, so let's do some of these curves so you can see what's happening. Right here, I'm gonna start, and I'm going to put the needle down and the needle up, and then lift my presser foot. And since I cut the thread, this did not work. Let's try again. Here we go. I have my little, there we go. I like to hold both of those in my hand, just so I don't get a mess on the bottom. And I stitch in place. This is the same way as if you were doing the quilting. Whenever I do quilting and I start in the middle of something of my quilt, I always want to make sure that I have control over both threads, the bottom bobbin thread and the top thread. Okay, so now I'm going to peel this back as far as it wants to go without wrinkles. That means this is too far. You can see that this does not work. Okay, but this part right here, when it's kind of nice and even, that's just right. So important is, now I just happen to have, my regular foot just happen to has visibility all the way to the needle. There are other feet that you can use, like an open toe foot or even a foot that's clear. As long as you can see where the needle goes into the fabric, that's kind of what you're looking for. And I'm going right around the outside of my original fold. The original fold is this edge right here. And so in that case, since I'm doing the whole thing, you can either stitch in place and peel and go up here and just move your thread over here, or, and then you have to stitch again, or you could just stitch in the ditch. So some of my patterns you can quilt and curve at the same time, and then I definitely stitch in the ditch. See how easy that is? Okay, there's threads everywhere here. And I'm stitching over here. Okay, and I'm stitching right to the other side. I find it almost easier to stitch in the ditch. After I've done a few of those, I'm going to clip those threads. And yeah, I don't really tie them off at the bottom or anything else. You know how hard it is to take anything apart. And if you have several stitches close together, it's not going to come apart. So I'm not going to bother with tying off. But let me finish the center one. One more. And come around. Last one. Stitch in place and we're done. So see how fun that is? That didn't really take too long. So at this stage, I would probably do all the ones that are inside and closed by the seams. The ones on the outside here, I would kind of leave those alone until my border pieces are sewn onto those. And then once there's a seam that goes over top of all these folded pieces, then you can also peel them back. And it's very easy to peel them back and top stitch them. So another thing that you need to know, you want to match your thread color. Something like this. And sometimes it's best to just take the thread out and lay it on there to see if it matches. Sometimes it looks different on the spool than it does as opposed to pulling out a piece of thread. Another thing, if you don't have a thread that matches exactly, if you go a little bit lighter on lighter fabrics and a little bit darker on darker fabrics for matching, that's what usually works for me. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you on my next YouTube live video at 10 o'clock tomorrow. And Southwind Designs, Quilt Along for spinning wheels. See you there.